They're safe. Bringing the SIF fully online.
Do it.
I don't think they'd ever call it the Sith.
Carter!
I'm okay. I'm okay. But that's a lot.
Here, let me help you.
Ouch.
Medical. We've got one wounded at my location. Millie.
Oh, man.
We'll see you at sickbay.
Status report.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermot?
Releasing the docking clamps using hull polarity minimized damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if we reapportion some of the staff, we can make our departure on time. As of now, however, we are successfully moored to the station.
Good to hear. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me. You disobeyed my orders. Well?
Respectfully, Captain, I made the right choice given the information I had.
You disobeyed my orders! And not just in front of the bridge crew, but the Starbase staff as well. That's going to get around.
That's the point of an
Name's already
XO.
tarnished around the fleet. But what is it going to do to my credibility on this ship? From the top to the bottom. Bridge to lower decks.
Maybe I shouldn't have disobeyed a direct order. But you were wrong. You weren't on board, and you didn't have all the information. So I made the right decision for the ship. If you're worried about your credibility, put your ego aside and trust your crew. Trust me.
You might have won some fans on the bridge with that stunt, but not everyone. Lieutenant Commander Chovak has already bent my ear.
I'm sure he doesn't take it personally. He'll get over it in time.
Mr. Chovak is more complicated than he would want to admit. I guess we all are. And, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what I would have done in the moment either. You never really know if you weren't in those shoes. So, let's just boil it down to, you did what you had to. That'll have to be good enough for me.
Thank you for understanding, sir. I'm sure no one knows the burden of command as well as you do.
I'm sure you will, someday. Despite it all, we got our final Starfleet clearance to depart. So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermot, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding repairs, and then we'll set out for Hotari.
Yes, sir. All departments reporting full mission readiness. We've got our full complement on board.
This is my favorite moment, right now.
The start of a new mission is always full of possibility.
The Orion Syndicate could sell it as a drug.
Don't let the Admiralty hear you say that.
His character just looks so much like that guy from Spider-Man.
Captain on the bridge.
The guy in charge of
Sit,
Daily
everyone.
Bugle? Jameson or something like that?
You all know, I'm not big on speeches. We're embarking on the first mission since our refit. Let's make it a good one. Disengage docking clamps.
Docking clamps released.
Thrusters ahead, Mr. Handar.
Finally, we're getting away without destroying the station. Did they make a bench out of spare scaffolding? That was a cool visual though, seeing this our ship leaving dock.
That should do it. Set a course for the Hotari system. Prepare to go to Warp 8.
Aye, Captain.
You know what? You take this one.
Me?
Engage, of course. Oh, for some reason, just went back to controller. The
Engage.
controller isn't even plugged in.
Simple, but effective.
What did Janeway say when she told them to warp? Whoa.
Easy. Thank you. I'm fine. Really,
You don't look so good.
Oh, we need our deuterium or whatever it is. Oh no. It's low.
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Commander, help me get her inside!
We also need to pay closer attention to our medical needs.
Well, that was quite a scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm did a real number on her, but she'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself. Your deridium levels got dangerously low and destabilized your cell structure.
This is definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
My name is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer. To be honest, I've never met a Kobliad before. You're...
Rare. I know.
I was going to say special. Your people's numbers have dwindled, despite the Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the deridium you need to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
I know what it means. And I know the responsibility that comes with it. But I can't be anything more than who I am. And if someone has a problem with that, or expects something else, then that's their problem, not mine.
That's exactly right. And don't worry, I won't treat you like a science experiment. I just do the science and leave the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks. Not when the lives of your crew are at stake. My professional opinion is that the accident took a toll. More than he's willing to admit. He's overstressed, operating in the pressure cooker of his own mind. which is never a good headspace when the lives of your crew are at stake. What concerns me is that now he's even further away from the thing he's been chasing his entire career. Breakthrough discovery. The major innovation. Something he can put his name on. The more the time passes and the further out of reach it gets, the more risk he'll be willing to take. People become blinded by their own ambition. I've seen it happen before.
I hear you. But that's my job, isn't it? To make sure that doesn't happen. And we don't lose sight of the bigger picture.
Which is exactly why I'm so glad you're here. We need you now more than ever. And I have to give you credit for what happened on the bridge. It took guts to defy a direct order.
Huh. I guess word travels fast around here.
It's a small ship. And everyone's curious about the new XO. Fortunately, your cell structure's almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of Diridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
Understood.
Then, my work here is done.
Lieutenant Bedrosian.
I came to see if you were okay. We were all pretty worried on the bridge. No one knew what was happening.
I don't want anyone to worry. This is just part of who I am. It doesn't define me.
Of course. I completely understand. And I would probably feel the same way if I were you. You trusted me earlier with the shields, and I appreciated that. I want you to know that I have your back.
Thank you.
So I guess during all the chaos, we just forgot to have Diridium, even though it's life or death.
Complete the diagnostic sequence, and this shuttle will be cleared for service.
Yes, sir.
The storm in the Hotari region will interfere with our transporters, so we need all available shuttlecraft in working order.
Oh, do we get to use a tricorder?
Petty Officer Maris, I will leave you to your work.
I stopped by sickbay and saw Millie. I figured you'd want to know.
Did the doc get her fixed up?
She's stable. But there's something about the storm's radiation that's making it hard to heal the energy burns.
That doesn't sound good.
She's toughing it out. Dr. Duval said she'll be back on duty soon, though.
Come on. I have to run the final diagnostic.
Oh, the background sounds so loud. The Melville.
I can't stay long. I've got a long to-do list before we get to Hotari, and things are piling on faster than I can check them off.
So what made her come back?
We're making all our last-minute checks and security, too. Tactical and security are short-staffed.
Well, nothing's ever 100%. But we'll be good to go.
And if you wait until you are ready, it's probably too late. Which is why I didn't want to wait for just the right time. I had a chance to think about this while I was away. Then you and Millie almost got killed out on the hull. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse.
Miranda, is everything all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Maybe even better than fine. What I'm trying to say is, we've been really good friends for a long time. But I got back here and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends.
Does he feel the same way?
Carter?
This is all kind of unexpected.
I didn't expect this either. But here we are. And I didn't want to ignore it. I just figured I'd steer right into it.
So that's why she's come back.
Well, what do you think? I've been about as direct as I can stomach. You can do that too. Be direct with me.
Sure, why not?
I like you too, Miranda. Let's see where this goes.
Okay. I was really hoping you'd say that.
These are uncharted territories.
I'd call it a chemistry experiment. You know, with us.
I'm just really glad that you said something.
I've seen how you operate. I couldn't wait for you to make the first move. I'm glad too.
So whatever happens next is great with me.
Level 1 diagnostic complete.
I have to get back to that to-do list. They're probably looking for me.
Can't blame them.
I'll be seeing you.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
Hopefully the whole thing with Uldir.
Already holding.
We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet
Hopefully
the
the
shuttle.
thing with him and
Commander Ryan,
Lily don't get
find us our diplomat.
into a weird triangle.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
This is awkward. I'm going to turn the mouse. Wait. How do they want me to do this? This isn't doing anything. Why would they do? Why would they do this? Oh, there we go. There we go. Spinning in circles.
I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering.
Like, just press out. Just ask somebody how to hold a mouse
Can't
button
get it any clearer.
rather than make circles with your mouse.
Lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Okay. Who's this?
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we get to play with the tractor beam. Nice.
Come on, Diaz.
So does he just do everything on the ship?
First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
Okay. Okay, there's the shuttle. Yep. Oh, we're gonna spin in circles again. Oh, wait. Oh, he did it? I thought I failed that. It's gonna go
Pulling
straight
in
in.
debris.
I'm on it.
Use the tractor beam to deflect the asteroids. Okay. Oh. You gotta do it in order, okay. And then you. So I thought that one was gonna hit the shuttle, but I guess not. Uh-oh. That's a huge one.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. It's the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I
It's
believe
huge.
so.
Really? I wouldn't trust
Commander
the
Ryder,
shields.
Plot an intercept course.
On it.
We just could ram it? This does not seem like a good idea. Shield the shell from the asteroid. Okay. Plot the intercept course. Okay.
Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17. 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Okay, now what's wrong? I gotta refocus. Okay.
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
So who's in the shuttle?
Terra firma, so to speak.
Spock?
Ambassador Spock. The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
This is awkward.
Apologies for the landing, Ambassador. I was operating the tractor beam, sir. I take responsibility.
Our arrival was the smoothest part of our journey. Your artistry with a tractor beam is commendable. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all.
Interesting.
Even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical. Petty Officer...
Carter Diaz.
Oh, it's petty officer, not chief. Okay.
Thank you.
Ambassador Spock,
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
Does chief just have another little chevron or something on the side? Provocation to war does not sound good. Ooh! Oh, we can go into the conference room. Nice.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past.
Oh, you're
Right.
digging yourself a hole.
Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
You are a legend, Ambassador. There's not an officer in Starfleet that doesn't know of your career.
I would never assume that to be the case.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. 2 formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Elydia and Hotari. Elydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Elydians have shared a mining operation there. The Elydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Elydians from their system.
Did the Elydians uplift
The
them?
official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
Have the Elydians retaliated against the Hotari? Or taken any action against them?
Surprisingly, they have not yet responded in kind. They were open to a Federation presence, but it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Elydian fleet in open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
That is correct.
We can call it profitable or mutually beneficial, but at the end of the day, the Hotari are still being exploited for their own resources.
True peace is not merely the absence of war. And as such, this conflict will surely come again.
Indeed.
Neither the
You
Elydians
have to
or the
actually
Hotari
resolve
are
the
members
problem,
of the Federation,
rather than
so
just
we
put a
can't make
band-aid
them
on
do
it.
anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Elydians as a source of dilithium.
Ah.
That certainly changes things.
Federation
That's why
sources
we're
its
involved.
dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
So we've already played a part in this.
Unfortunately, that is indeed the case, Commander Rydek.
We're morally obligated to make this right.
Hold on. Our only obligation is to negotiate the peaceful resolution of this conflict.
Given
Well,
the
no, because we'd be
Federation's
profiteering
involvement in
from
the
from
dilithium
getting it.
trade,
Yeah.
Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
Even
What
though we're
worries
not
me
really.
is if this whole thing unravels and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the ion storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Elydian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
Yep, it's a perfect storm in every situation.
That may answer
Every
why the
sense of the
Hotari
word.
were able to strike back after so long. They finally had an opportunity, and they took it.
That would also explain the Elydians' restraint.
And reason to learn as much about the energy anomaly as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught at a disadvantage of our own. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly goes her own way.
I don't see how, because
That
we'd still
helps
be
in
wearing the
this case.
Federation uniform.
It would be unconventional, but I'm not opposed to it.
With all due respect, Ambassador, I'm not a trained diplomat.
That's exactly what we're going to leverage.
I began my time in Starfleet as a science officer, not as an ambassador. We must be adaptable in the line of duty.
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Yeah, so what will the Federation do? Like, we've got invested interest in helping the Illidians because we trade dilithium with them and we need that dilithium for the ships because it's our fuel source. So not really
Mr.
impartial,
Diaz,
even if
I
we do come
understand
in
you have
to
already
help.
discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock.
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with. I am not the chief engineer of this shuttlecraft.
The ambassador asked me to take a look, and I'm ready to crack this thing open.
Good. You could learn from Mr. Diaz's focus.
I'll take notes.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
So unless the Hotari
One
have
nice thing
decided...
about Vulcans. Chovak is the only person who didn't look at this and treat me like I was something to pity. Doc says I should get used to it.
Yeah, so the Hataris
Doesn't
might
mean
have,
I want to be reminded of it every minute
might
of
have
the day.
decided that they want to trade with us
Hey,
directly.
you won't get pity from me. I think it makes you look tough. As tough as you really are, that is.
And that makes you sound pretty smart. I might need you to save me from myself next time, though. Come on. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Oh, Nilly, I have a date!
Ready to go?
Oh, so we had a neutral interaction?
Let's run
Was
the
that-
diagnostic.
with her there? Is that all that means? Why it's white instead of red or green? Makes sense. Okay, diagnostics, yeah. This is cool that we have the LCAR's menu system. We get to interact with it. Sort of. Oh, there we go. Can I just play with the other things? Like, that would be the dream. I get to play with everything, but there's only so much you get to interact with. What's all? Okay. Looks fine.
So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you? All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms. That just isn't gonna work for me. And I know you'll respect that.
Are you upset?
Not on your life, Diaz. But you need to be careful. I like my friends and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done yet?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something.
Okay, let's check it out. So, oh yeah. Like, how would they know all these things mean? Like, you'd have to spend like forever learning every single thing. What's the 11 mean? Could the 11 be like a 12 sometimes? And what would that mean? Like, oh. Although with this kind of computer system, you should be able to just like click on things and then it would tell you more information. But you never see them do that. But you probably should. Oh. Okay, and then we can watch that trajectory, okay.
Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings.
They fly past them.
What are they?
Oh, can we select these? Okay.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
So he's doing what I was saying, right? If you press on it, you get more info.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
Oh, you can read it all. That's really cool. If you like pause and then like full screen it, you could read this all. It's a little blurry, but you can actually make it all out. And that's really cool.
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code. Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other.
I want to do
Don't
warp
overcomplicate
coils.
this. One of these systems is likely broken.
That sounds the cooler thing to do.
I'll check the nacelles for a cracked coil.
Your tricorder can be your tricorder can record and analyze data. Looking through it will reveal the unseen. Use 2 to equip or holster your tricorder. Hold mouse button to scan glowing objects. You must be close to some objects to scan them. Watch the frame of the screen to see if you are too far away. So 1 brings out our phaser, I think. And 2 is our tricorder. Ooh, look at this. This is cool. This is very cool. I like this. Can we scan her? No, really? Well, it's not a medical tricorder. Passive scan mode. I don't get anything from these. It's a bit of a shame. Okay, so we'll go to the other one. Because this one seems fine. Says, oh, I have to click it. Oh, my bad. Deep scan. Some objects you scan will activate a deep scan. During a deep scan, use Q and E to switch between different scan modes and search for glowing objects. The mode indicators on the tricorder will blink up for an object. If there is an object you find in that mode, when you have scanned all objects, the frame will change colour. Hold the right mouse button to analyze the data and finish the scan. Okay. Why am I moving? It's doing it automatically? Okay, that was weird. In a standby state, warp coils produce a residual electromagnetic field. No deviations detected. Term radiation. Okay, chemical. Polyfuranide deposits. The leading coils show evidence of routine maintenance to repair microabrasions from neutrino interactions. Sinusoidal coil cluster. The center coils guide the warp field for its focal event, maintaining a collimated thrust vector. No fractures detected. There's no other things to scan here, there is. No, there isn't. Biological. Oh, can we scan her now? Oh. I didn't realise we could do biological scanning too.
If any coil in either engine were cracked, I would have detected it. So, it must be the navigation array.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
We only checked one in the cell.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Hey.
I'm not here.
Yep,
We're
pretty
escorting
awkward.
the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just
So she's security?
looking to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
Come on, I'm never too busy to make time for you.
That's not true.
No. But I am glad you came by.
No, that's more accurate.
I gotta be precise with you, huh?
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Get y'all later.
You don't want to miss your train.
I do have to go. Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now. More important things on my mind. That was nice.
Yeah, He was.
Save some of that for when I get back.
You've got a deal.
Be seeing you.
I don't know if it is regulations to.
Etzelarda Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go. All right, where were we?
Because you don't usually see that in
the
Star
warp
Trek
coils
being
and the
so.
navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You wanna take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now.
Because usually in Star Trek, if a character is like intimate with another character, they usually do it when they're off duty. Not usually when they're on duty. There's probably some regulation that you can't. Well, not can't, maybe, but not supposed to. When you're on duty. I mean, because this is basically a military organization.
Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of ring.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
Uh-oh. But there must be a range to it, because we were able to warp in. Unless something's happened that's affected, like, the entire warp engine inside here. So do you have to replace the engine?
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you've come. My name is Tylos Altaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours, and this is Commander Jara Rydick, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind. and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Illidians.
We're honored to be here as representatives of the Federation.
I'm so glad.
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation. The reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But, either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Citron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
I think we're about to begin.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy? I don't know what we're walking into here, but that guy was something.
That may be true. But let's keep an open mind going into the negotiations. Hopefully he's just one voice amongst many.
Then let's hope he's the outlier.
The Hotari have invited us as their guests, so we must show them the proper respect.
I guess we do what Spock did. Show deference, show strength. Deference. Yeah, that's what Spock did. We could show strength, but they could take it the wrong way. If in doubt, do what Spock would do.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Hotari Prime.
Probably knows them a lot better than we do.
Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Illidian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war!
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
I'm trying to keep an open mind here, but it's not easy. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not part
She can speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
We were just listening. We don't have anything to say right now. We don't want to be your oppressor. That's about it.
Now then, what is your name?
Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty.
Being a Kobliad, you would know better than anyone. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable as it is unforgivable.
Oh, is that what happened to them? The
Not
Cardassians?
unlike how we have been treated by the Alidians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Alidians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
Seek peace?
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it.
Indeed, you don't want to, like...
There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor.
Yeah.
So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
Perhaps, Commander Rydak. Perhaps. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No. It was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if
Very true.
Ambassador
No,
Spock would have
it's
us
true.
believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace.
We're not neutral.
So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
Yep, the lithium is a factor.
It's possible the Federation has an interest in both peace and securing a steady source of dilithium. One does not preclude or prevent the other. But that's just my personal opinion.
Given the Federation has done business with the Alidians for decades, I would agree. It's entirely possible, if not highly likely.
What they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without Alidian involvement.
Why? Why can't
Created
we?
it for the benefit of everyone.
Whoa, we could trade with the
Especially
Hotari.
We've given them warp technology. We've let
You
them
did
share
uplift
in the
them,
profits.
okay,
We've made their
okay.
lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All
Okay,
of that
so
goes
the-
away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
So,
That is
the
enough of your
Hotari are
lies.
basically the Narn, and we don't want them
The
to become
Hotari are
fully
quite
the
capable
Narn.
of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau?
The Hotari.
Who should the Federation recognize?
The Hotari.
The Hotari or the Alidians? Can only be one or the other, not both.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
Mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred. We will take back our mines by any means necessary.
Then you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
I suppose there is some sense to that. I hope we meet again, Jara Ryder.
hey, we did what they asked us to do,
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front.
and we're not going about
You
we're not
make
about
nice
to
with
lie.
the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war.
I
What
wonder
happened in
why.
those mines?
People just love to be used and exploited, have their plants' resources taken away from them. You know, people just love that. They just love their lands to be taken for other people without any real benefit to themselves.
Such rough terrain. No wonder the Hotari are so tough.
Doesn't want to talk to you? Okay.
Soothing.
Yeah, this is soothing. You wouldn't really expect this from something so nice and peaceful from a like you wouldn't like the Krogans wouldn't have anything like this.
Commander, I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Elidians' baseless claims and protect the interests of my people.
The Hotari have suffered enough at the hands of the Elidians.
I couldn't agree more.
I assume you were there the day the mines were seized from the Elidians.
Not seized, reclaimed, and restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive, before the Elidians could even realize their worst nightmares upon them.
I'm curious why the Elidians haven't fought back. They have the ability to retake the mines anytime they want.
Ability is one thing, courage is another. The Elidians know any hostile action on their part will not end well. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with
nope.
anything the Elidians might have in store.
Nope, it's a tiny little
Or
ship
is that
meant
not
for
so?
science.
Maybe I've misjudged it.
It wasn't designed as a warship. More for scientific research and exploration.
But the Federation must have ships designed for war.
Technically, they're Starfleet ships representing the Federation. But yes.
I see.
Sidron.
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
I mean, they wouldn't be that stupid, would they? Because he's asking about our ship. They're not that stupid that they're going to try and take our starship to use against the Elidians, because they'll just spark a war of the Federation.
Commander Rydek, I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people. I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
I'm glad to hear it. I just hope you're not the only one who feels that way.
I apologize for that. These are unusual times, to say the least. Much is changing. I saw you speaking with Sidron, our national hero. I'm curious, what did he say?
He seems to be of the opinion that negotiating for peace is a waste of time.
Because force is the only blunt instrument he understands. He's a miner, not a diplomat. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now, they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
I assume they've taken your place.
I was one of the Queen's most trusted advisors. And I hope to prove myself worthy of being so again. Which is why you're here. My fear has been that the Elydians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to. But it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them. But it has no teeth. Like they're afraid of what might happen.
Do you think it has something to do with the ion storm? Right now, it's stronger than ever, isn't it?
It's entirely possible. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the storm has knocked out all kinds of systems. So maybe the Elydians weren't willing to risk their ships, given all the interference.
Which means there's a small window of opportunity for the Atari
Since
to
the
do
day of the
something.
revolt, Galvin
And after
has seized
that,
control of the mines
the
and
Elydians
restricted
probably
all
come down with a
access.
hammer below.
No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security. I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines. I've made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. But that's what concerns me. Whatever they're hiding, it can't be good.
Oh.
How can we know?
The Elydians doing something on this planet. In secret.
See what's happening.
There's some kind of secret weapon they're working on down here.
I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you. I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Sorry, I couldn't help but notice you were speaking with the Hotari this whole time. I figured in the interest of fairness, I should offer another perspective.
Of course.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality, as does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future. So, why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without Elydian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. But clearly, you weren't aware.
We are and will remain completely neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution to this conflict.
As is ours. Of course, the question is, at what price? Major Salit Arminta, Special Attaché, Elydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, a very convenient anomaly. At least, that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
You sound skeptical.
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives, that it was more than just the storm.
That somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
So yes, they were developing a weapon. They got hold of the weapon, and that's what happened.
You just answered your own question. How do a group of miners do something that in theory can't be done? That's how. Harnessing the storm.
But even if it's true, how does that even happen?
You
I'd
tell
ask
me?
your people. Yeah. Your people are up to something. They
If
lost
you'll
control of
excuse
it.
me, Commander Ryder.
This is cool. This is a really fun Star Trek game. We get to negotiate. We get to do sciencey stuff.
They seem proud
we get to
of
play
their
around
culture.
with the tools. I hope they make
Pride
more of
can lead
these.
to rash action.
I wasn't paying attention to what she said. She said they're really proud of the banners and pride. Pride's a bad thing, yeah, that's true. Also so different. Why? I wonder what they represent. Wait, which way? Can I go through the other door? Did I try? I guess they are in the throne room. Yeah, they're in the throne room. Okay.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Elydians stormed out.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
Indeed.